Welcome back to the second part of this open Q&A session. And in this second part, we will be focusing on the business side of iForTrust and the different questions that you have. So as you know, it's an open session, and the idea is that you as attendees ask the questions, and depending on what you ask is what we will have during the session. So, we are recording the sessions. So if you raise your hand and we give you the mic, it will be recorded and it will be shared online. So if you prefer that we don't record your voice, please ask us via the chat any questions that you have. And right now we're with Rajiv from iShare, with Angeles Tejado from Fireware, and Rosa Villaronga from Funding Box. So you have people from all the different organizations that are part of iForTrust here, so that you can ask any questions that you may have right now about the project. I don't know if any of the speakers wants to share anything to start us off with.
What I can do, I think, is to present myself, and I don't know if I am sharing let me see, okay, because we will be presenting on Monday all the community building activities and ecosystem building activities, and a bit of the communication plan that we will be following. To try to understand a bit altogether the journey and the ecosystem that we want to build, and different associations that we are connecting with, and questions on this I'm here to answer, and Funding Box, Rosa, just in case there is any question related to the open call. I am Ángeles, I work in the Fireware Foundation in the marketing team.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rosa Villaronga. I'm working in Funding Box. And, as said Ángeles, we will have a specific session on Monday to tackle, the ecosystem building, the open call. But if you have some questions now related with this process, I'm glad to support you, to help you. Thanks.
Thank you, Angeles and Rosa.
Let's see here.
Maybe the questions regarding our topics are coming next week, no? Because we should present first, and then people even the questions. But if someone now, all of you were invited to this private group in the platform, maybe you experience some difficulties, or you have questions because, we invite you before the first session, so maybe you want to share something related with the platform, and some specific questions in how to ask questions or how to play around the community. I don't know. Nothing.
Because last week we had Margarita with us, and she showed us a little bit how to use the spaces, and I think everybody should be already on there. And we actually have a question from Maxine, thank you. And it says, for the open call, is there a specific area you're willing to promote, or what type of consortium is the ideal to be one of the 32 chosen ones?
The consortium have to have at least a minimum 4 entities, 1 DIH and 3 SMEs, but we didn't restrict the sector of the vertical. So the idea is that you propose a real-life challenge to use I4Trust enablers, Fireware and iShare, and that's it. There are not specific challenges, there are not specific verticals. We encourage cross-border proposals and also cross-sector proposals, but it's not mandatory.
I'm on mute. Yes, sorry. Yeah, you're welcome, Maxine. Yeah, so we're really flexible. Anything else that you're already wondering about or have any questions? I mean, we did have one session during the first week on I4Trust. I see somebody's raising their hand. Annette, I'll give you the mic.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, and just like, to start it off, because I don't know, I am coming from the business side, so I should be able to have questions. But as I have interacted for quite a while with iShare, with Rajiv, and many of my questions have already been answered, but I'm thinking of like, what would be the support or the framework in which we could really bring this also as users or as implementers of I4Trust into the market or into our own ecosystems, or what you would do for that, or how we can work together. I'm not sure if it's a clear question. It's more to start off a discussion.
Well, I don't know if I may. I don't know. I mean, nobody. I think that is too early, to answer. But of course, exploitation is part of our activities. I mean, maybe Rajiv, you may help. I mean, in all the mentoring program, fundraising boot camps, cross data value chain boot camps, or our planet. We will be working together on this. Funding Box, for example, I think that you are also planning some at the end of the mentoring program to you may say better than me the business models that we are planning for this community of practice, so to say. So
yeah. So if I understand you, Annette, one is, of course, how we support you in implementation of I4Trust. and second is how the ecosystem of this HyperTrust keeps on going on in future, right? So of course, right now what we are doing is we are training all the DIHs in understanding what is HyperTrust, what technology aspects does it bring, and what non-technical aspects that does it bring. And in the open call, we will support you throughout the experiment implementation phase in defining and designing the use case as is presented in the proposal on the open calls. So based on this understanding, the DIHs help SMEs to design the solution to solve a challenge. And of course, we provide you the mentorship from HyperTrust team on, okay, what steps should we take? How should we better solve this problem, given our experience in different such solutionings. So that is one part. And while we are in this whole implementation phase, there would be also some events, as Enkeles is mentioning, where we facilitate networking and connections, but also Funding Box will arrange for connections with the fundraisers that will help you in sustaining a solution even beyond the scope of this project. And as DIH, you are the torchbearer of HyperTrust. You go in the market, you go in that in the space of in your ecosystem. You explain to a lot of SMEs how HyperTrust can help them create a solution for their challenge, and bring them into the channel or bring them into the HyperTrust community, so that these mechanisms through which we support everyone, we can continue to do that, because there is now one open call that will be happening now, and but at the next year as well there will be another open call within the HyperTrust. So there are 2 open calls, and of course beyond that as well, we want to continue that HyperTrust community. Once it is built, it sustains in a self-sustaining manner. It can continue, and more SMEs and DHs can keep on joining, and we grow this whole ecosystem of the community. Does that answer your question, Annette?
Yeah, Rajiv, certainly the largest part of it. Thank you, really. Say what I would encounter, say, in the market, also from our implementation point of view. So one is the DIH, and the other thing is if you want to convert it into an actual, implement it within an implementation like we're doing for delivery at home, then we would have to convince the business users in the other chain entities, so with the logistic service providers and with the shippers in our case. So we are in the logistics domain.
Yeah.
Not to get stuck in the IT, because if we get stuck in convincing IT, it is basically they may or may not be convinced, but it will certainly mean that we are at the end of the line of all the programs they have to implement. And this is actually very much also from a business use very important, no? Because if you want to create value between partners, you have to be sure the story that you have really the say about who has access to the digital component on your information. And that would convince business, I would hope, to then further it in their organizations and to further the project. But I'm not sure how you would think, because there are a lot of technical people here, so I'm not sure whether they would or would not agree.
No, of course. So business, technology is always driven by business. We understand that, and if there is no business case, there is perhaps the companies will not commit to implementations. So definitely we need, that's why the use case or the challenges that we need to solve, and that's where we give this open calls where you have a challenge that you need to get solved as a business, and IFA provides you all the means to solve that, including the technical part. But also you get the guidance in the business aspects as well, and the legal aspects. That IFA Trust solution is such that it is all comprising, and the primary goal of IFA Trust is to enable data spaces and exchange data. And with exchanging data, there are a lot of use cases or challenges that we can solve from today in today's business, where there are a lot of paper-based processes or inefficiencies, or there are other use cases where there is data in at a lot of companies, but they are within the silos of that company. But when it is exchanged outside to other parties, then it opens up a lot of other opportunities or different business models or business cases. You can monetize the data that you have, and we provide all those necessary support to create a solution and help you in that journey to validate that, because we start from defining the challenges. That you define the challenge as, okay, this is the challenge that we want to solve. This is how, at least in the beginning, in the open calls or in the proposal, that you want to use IFA Trust to solve that challenge. And then based on the use case and the selected challenges, that we will provide support in defining that solution. What would be the best way to do that? And that is not only technical, but there are other aspects that would be included in it, specifically, considering that it needs to have some business case as well. Otherwise, we know that it doesn't make sense. So given that we will provide that kind of mentoring support throughout the journey, and at the end of the implementation, you will have a working experiment, which is like, pre-production ready, at least, at the least. Of course, it can also be on production already, and that should lead to solving the challenge. But we cannot determine ourselves the challenges and the business cases for SMEs and DHs. That
Of
is
course.
something, that is why we engage with you, and you engage with SMEs, or DH and SMEs come together and bring the use case or the business case, or it's like, okay, if we have this challenge, if we solve this, then this is the business impact, or this is the monetary impact, or this is process impact, or this is sustainable impact, because we also have the green agreements, and we want to sustain our world in a better way. So if there are business cases where making certain changes or implementing certain solution leads to those, then of course we try to help you to solve that, and we do that together. And of course, in the part of that process, we will come across a lot of new learnings, but at the same time, we also provide you a lot of different supports with networks. And Funding Box has a good network of fundraisers or funding. Rosa can add here if she wants, but that would be to support your experiment into making it really implemented in production, and actually reaping the benefits of implementation of that solution. So either the monetization or the sustainability, or whatever data, whatever business case it has. Because this whole IFA Trust project is part of Horizon 2020, where Horizon 2020 wants to enable SMEs in Europe to break their silos and start exchanging data and bring the digital economy of the Europe to the next level. That is what is aimed, and we see IFA Trust as a perfect solution to bring that on into the market.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be part of it.
We are
Thank
glad
you.
you are part of it.
Thank you.
There is one question here, Jane. I don't know if you can see in the chat.
Yes, I have it here from Manuela, which is if a DIH can only participate in the consortium for the open call if it has people that are accredited in the IFRTrust training.
This is for me. No, in the sense that it's not mandatory, it's not an eligibility criteria be part of the train the trainer program. However, we will assess and score the knowledge and the experience using the technology, because we understand that only people that use the technology and have knowledge using this technology, Fireware and ICER, can be feasible to implement the experiment. But as to be part or to be eligible is not mandatory. But you should show, demonstrate your knowledge in the technology, implementing the technology. Yeah.
Thank you, Rosa.
I wanted to say, I suppose that Manix is still with us, because I have been talking to him in the direct chat, that Juanjo, I think that is with us, just in case, because this data model from SEGI2 related to smart destinations is interesting. Even, I mean, Alberto had to go, but I was commenting with Max. No, the name is Manix. Manix is working with Jose Manuel Cabello in Canary Island, and yeah, I mean, they had an interesting discussion on data models. In the chat you have the PDF, and Alberto had to go. And I just was saying to Manix that I think that there is some idea, Juanjo, on having a working group on smart destinations or something like this. I think.
Yeah, actually, there is a group that is working on the smart destinations with some people from Spain, also from Argentina, and also from France. And they are precisely one of the first ideas they had was that of working on data models for smart destinations. Some of the people involved are running some projects in this domain, and one of the things they were tackling was that of trying to create the JSON LD structures for the data models, which map a standard that has been created by the Spanish SEGI2 agency. It's a very reputed agency focused on tourism, with very good connections with the World Tourist Organization, and we thought it was a very good starting point. And very soon, I know that the working group is going to meet actually to work intensively in the definition of these data models. So, well, perhaps there is an opportunity you can join and contribute to that task force.
Thank you, Juanjo. I don't know if you want to add anything to this, Angeles?
No, just wanted to, because I have been, Manix is answering, have a question. I don't know, maybe it is good if you, I don't know how you can give the microphone, because maybe Manix wants to say something. He's saying, can we have access to the progress of this working group? Because it is not efficient to work in the same path on two different lines.
Yeah, so what I may suggest to you is, because this working group is something connected to Fireware membership, but you may become individual member of Fireware. You can check on the website how you can become member, and then from that point on, you can join the working group. And I guess you may have the email address of Alberto. And Alberto is our specialist in data models, and who is leading the different contributions to the Smart Data Models initiative. And he will be working in a day-by-day basis in that working group. So my suggestion as steps is that you first become our member, individual members. Second, that you contact Alberto in order to join that working group, and that should be all. With that, you should be on board.
Perfect. Thank you, Juanjo. And we actually have a follow-up question to the previous question. So I think this is for Rosa, in terms of the knowledge of the technology that people participating on the open call need to have. And the question is, do they have to prove experience in the use of fireware?
You have to describe, I mean, the application for is divided in 3 main criteria, and the evaluators will assess all of them. You don't need to prove, in the sense you don't need to provide documents that guarantee this experience, but when you write the proposal and when you describe your team, you should introduce, you should describe in a proper way the experience and the knowledge in this technology. In fact, the trainers have these 2 parts, no? It's not the theoretical part. They have also practical exercise to people that is in the training use the technology. Sorry.
Thank you, Rosa. I also got a thanks from the person posing the questions, so that's good. Do you have any other questions to the audience?
There was a question before, but I cannot see it anymore. I don't know why.
I think I went up to it. So we covered it.
Okay.
And we have a new one. Can the consortium be 1 DIH plus 2 SMEs and 1 not so small company? You're on mute, Rosa. No worries.
Now, yeah, in fact, we're talking always SMEs, but we also allow slightly bigger companies to apply. So with SMEs and slightly bigger companies. And the consortium is 1 DIH and 3 other entities that can include SMEs and slightly bigger companies. So yes, the answer is yes.
Is there a definition of what a slightly bigger company is?
It's in terms of the number of employees. I think, I say by heart, is SMEs and the number of employees is 250. Slightly bigger is maximum 500, and then the turnover. And now I don't have these amounts in mind, but we will explain in the guide for applicants. And we follow the definition from the European Commission. For the number of employees is this. So SME is till 250 employees, and slightly bigger till 500 employees. And then the turnover. But I can replay this question in the working group. I can show them the difference or the description for each of the entities.
Yeah, thank you. And as you say, it will be in the guide for applicants. So
yeah, it's included because in fact this is eligibility criteria. So only, can apply, only can receive fundings, SMEs, regular companies, and DIH. So all this information, that is legal information, will be included in is included in the guide for applicants. Yes.
Thank you. Maybe I can flip it a little bit and actually ask the attendees something. So I'll launch a yes or no question. And that's if you are already on the spaces and on the DIH working group, and if you have been able to see how that works. Because we have invited everybody, and it's the core foundation of the AfriTrust community. And we talked about that in the last open Q&A. So just to see if everybody is on there and that nobody has fallen in between the cracks or something like that. So I think my fellow speakers cannot see it, but we do have 100% yes as an answer. So that's really good to see. And perhaps another interesting question, which is a little bit more less about the business part, is have you started doing the practical exercises? And I'll start a yes/no vote as well. Oh wait, I lost it. Sorry. Oh, there I can see it. It's going quite dynamic. That's nice. The yes gets bigger and bigger. So I think we have all the answers. So we have an 86% yes and a 14% no. So thanks for sharing. And we have a new question, which is, are there going to be more IFRTrust training programs? Which I'm assuming it refers to the Train the Trainers program, Pradeep.
Yes, yes, there will be. So for one, these sessions are recorded and of course available for anyone, any DHs or even SMEs to look at. But at opportunity, there will be one more training session at least when we start the experiments. So that is once the selection of the participants have been done or proposals have been done. At that time, there would be a session, and there could be more sessions in interim when there are events. We could try to co-locate some training sessions, but that could be either physical or it could also be online. But yeah, we will keep you posted if and you have to you will know it in the spaces when we are planning some further training events. But you don't need to necessarily wait for it because these sessions are already recorded and available for you to access, and it will be always available.
Thank you, Rajiv. Are there more questions? I'll give you a couple of more minutes to think about it. If not, I'll share one bit of information. But it is your opportunity to ask questions now, since you have all of us here with our full attention. So please, if there's anything, do put it in the chat or in the question section. I don't see any questions coming in, so then I'll flip to you guys because we will be sharing a survey with you guys about the training program, and we will actually be doing 2 surveys, one today and one at the end of the program, because for us it's very important to get your opinion and get your thoughts in the program, especially moving forward, so that we can improve on the project and know yeah, what you all thought about it. So I will share in the chat the survey, and I will ask you guys to look at it as soon as we close the session, and if you could answer it, that would be fantastic. And I will also be sharing the link to it in the spaces, so you will also have it there. And then if we don't have any more questions, I'll ask the speakers if they want to share anything else right now. Which I have the feeling the answer will be no, but just in case. And there is silence, so no, there's nothing else that we want to share. So then I think we will just close this session, and we will see you on Monday, as Rosa and Angela said, for the deep dive onto the ecosystem and IFA and all about that. So yeah, thank you very much everybody for joining us, and we will see you next week. And please look at the survey.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.